Look like it's recording. Okay, well, we'll try this again. We wanted to share with how the Wannabe song came about. I thought life, the enemy works to try to tear us down at times. And if we let him, he will tear us down. But if we can look to the Lord, he can help us overcome and turn these things that was intended to be hurtful. He can turn it into something good, into a blessing. And I think that's what happened with that song. The enemy intended to tear us down with it, and it ended up being a huge blessing. I want Kim to try to tell how it started, because it started with her, and I want her to tell what she can remember what happened.
I think it was on a Tuesday. Someone said that I was a wannabe Christian, and I had tried to decide if I should go to church or what I should do. I almost didn't go. I just felt like giving up, but I ended up going, and my husband went with me, and we got down to pray. I just felt discouraged the whole night, but we got down to pray, and I guess one of the kids in the bench behind me had dropped their Bible upside down as I got down to pray. And it just stood out to me for some reason, so I just picked it up and just read through some of what was on the page. And I just felt like the Lord was trying to show me something, trying to tell me something. It is Matthew 7:15. It was the scripture about the false prophet. It says, "Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves." And I read that 15 through 23. I just felt the Lord in it so good that I felt like standing up and sharing it, and the Lord blessed me in it. I just felt like the part that says, "A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." And I want to just bear the good fruit, and I believe that's what I had said that night. And I guess it was Saturday. I had talked to some family. I went up and talked to my dad, and my brother was there, and I was telling them about it. I was pretty discouraged. I said somebody told me I was a wannabe Christian, and I was really hurt.
Yeah, when she told me that, I was not happy and didn't know what to think. I couldn't believe that somebody would even say that to somebody that was young in the church and just starting out. So like I said, I was just kind of blown away when because we were standing out in the road over across by Travis's house, and I just didn't know what to think. And Aaron was just a couple steps away. He said something like, "Well, I guess we just are wannabes." And I thought, well, yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I do want to be like Jesus, I want to be like him, or walk in his footsteps. I want to be one with God, in the Spirit. So that helped kind of turn it around a little bit in my mind. And we talked for a few minutes, and felt a little better about it, but I still just was a little blown away that somebody would actually say that to a young Christian. And the next morning, Sunday morning I got to church a little early, and and I just started thinking about that, and I just in maybe 5 minutes I wrote down a whole page of that. That sounds a lot like what the beginning of the song is. I am a wannabe, and I want to be like Jesus and walk in His footsteps. And I want to be one with Him. Just all of that. And I wrote that down, and then the first song that he sang was For every Goliath there's a stone, and I could feel the Spirit beginning to stir in me about as he began to sing that, and I thought, well, I'll just stand up, see if the Lord's in any of it. And as I stood up, it was like power went through me. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It was just different than I normally would feel. And it was pretty strong. And I thought, woo, I'd like to feel some more of that. And I thought, well, I'll just step over to the end of the bench and just trust the Lord, see what He's got. And I stepped over there, and I could just, like, my legs just like, felt like that was just full of energy. Like I said, I don't know how to describe the way it felt, but it's just like my legs was full of energy. I thought, well, it feels like something's going to happen. I'd never felt that before. And I stood there for a while, just trusting the Lord and just trying to see if I could, what I could understand. Maybe the Spirit was how it was trying to move, or what I needed to do, if anything. And but anyway, after a while, I just started walking in a circle in the aisle, up, back and forth, and just meditating on that and trying to keep my mind on the Lord, and and I thought maybe some of that was for Kim, and as I walked away, maybe on the third or fourth lap around from where I'd been standing, I thought, well, maybe I should go over and get Kim's hand and just let her walk around with me, and because it seemed like I just thought that was for her and I. And as I turned to come back toward where I'd been standing there at the back, she was standing where I had been standing. So as I come to her, I just took her hand, and we just kept on walking, and I started saying the things that I'd written down, that I am a wannabe. And I want to be like Jesus. And I want to walk in His footsteps. And I want to be one with Him. And I was kind of whispering it at first. And I wasn't sure if she could hear me. So I thought maybe I'll say it a little louder. And as I went through it maybe the second time. And it seemed like I could feel the Spirit stirring stronger the second time. And then I thought, well, I'll just say it louder. It seemed like, if I said it louder, the Spirit got stronger. And so I just kept saying it louder, and the Spirit would get stronger. And I'd say it louder, and then I thought I was screaming it out. I don't know what it sounded like to other folks, but I was yelling at the top of my voice, just, I thought, but I was feeling it so strong. It was just incredible. And then and they were still singing "Forever Goliath There's a Stone," but I thought, yeah, that's the solution. This is the solution to how the enemy was trying to use that to tear her down by saying that she's just a wannabe. I thought the enemy wanted to tear us down with that thought, but the Lord has helped us. That it's the opposite of tearing us down. It's built us up. It's encouraged us. And but as I yelled out, "There's the stone!" Like there's the solution. I just felt the Spirit so strong, and I yelled, "Woo!" Yeah, it was just so amazing. I don't know if I'd ever felt the Spirit that strong ever before. Or since, but I'm just so glad for all of it. It's been was really incredible. And I just wanted to share some of the steps that brought this thing all about, where we wanted to try to turn it into a song. So, go ahead.
So I know the Lord really helped both of us that day. We both felt the Lord really good. I just think it's really neat how God connected Dad and Aaron a little bit to my situation, what I was going through. The Lord connected Dad with it. It's like they, gave me somebody to help me through it. The Lord, the things Dad said that day walking around helped me a lot, and it helped me through it. It helped me see things differently. But then, I guess a couple weeks later, we ended up going to Mayfield, Kentucky for services down there. And my sister had found some shirts, and she called my dad, and he wanted her to get them for me. The brand of them was Wannabe. That's what the tag said. I thought that was pretty special that they found them and got me a shirt like that. It was just, I guess it just reminded me of the good that came of it, everything. And I still, when I get out the few pieces of clothing they bought me with that brand on it, I think about that situation, and rather than it tearing me down, it makes me smile. I think it's a really neat thing that came out of what happened.
Yeah, I thought with the clothing, that brand Wannabe, that's what I thought. Where at first, the enemy wanted to discourage us with it, but now it's something that's encouraging, and we can laugh about it, and the whole thing, it's just encouraging it, and I think it was so awesome the way it all worked out.
Yeah. I think after Dad gave that to me, they came for service. We all met at the church that morning. Some of us stayed in that church, so we all got there, and I was showing them my shirt before church. I'm like, look, I'm wearing my shirt. Dad said, you need to make a song. And so then maybe it was a little bit later, before, once we gathered in the church building, or it might have been afterwards, I was like, I got a tune for the song, and a couple lyrics, like when I was getting ready, or at some point that morning, the tunes start coming to my mind, like, I want to be a Christian. And we did end up changing that a little bit. Later, as I was writing it, Dad said it would be neat if it said, I want to be a wannabe. I want to be a wannabe. So we did change that a little bit, but I started writing it after, I guess actually probably on the way back that weekend. I started trying to come up with some stuff, and after a couple weeks of trying to come up with some stuff, I came up with too much, and Dad came home with some notes he had made at work, and it said, like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and a few other things that I had put in there. But I went up to him and I said, I thought about using that too, like a wolf's in sheep clothing, but I just wasn't sure how to go about any of it. But I worked on it for a couple weeks and came up with the first verse and the chorus, and then I showed it to my brother, and he thought it was good, and I kept trying to come up with the second verse, and I just couldn't come up with anything. I guess after a while I had what I've got on the recording that you guys have found on YouTube, but I just wasn't confident in what I had, and I recorded that last year in October, but I just kept trying to find, make it sound better. I'm not much of a writer, but I kept trying to make it sound better, and I sat down over the last year half a dozen times or more, and I've prayed over the book at my piano, and just asking the Lord to help me to come up with better words or whatever I needed to finish the song. And I just couldn't find anything different. I knew that I wanted it to say that what was meant for bad, God made it good. And so I just kept going back to the original thing I had wrote, and I never got anywhere different. And Dad asked me about it about a week ago, and I finally took him what I had written and showed him my recording, and I was like, well, I finished it. I can't come up with anything better. And he really liked it, so not much for writing, not much for playing the piano either, but I feel like the Lord helped me with what I did get written, and I hope that it'll help other people like it's helped me.
Yeah, I told her a little while ago that Greg called last night and was saying that he thought maybe somebody had hacked my YouTube channel because somebody had put some music on there he had never heard before on some of the video that he knew was video I'd put on YouTube. And he said he didn't know who the girl was that was singing. He said she sounded kind of familiar, but he couldn't place who it was. But he said it's got him. He's walking around singing the song. So I thought it was good. He said he's listened to it quite a few times. And I thought I am thankful, and I think about this a lot, that I am thankful that I have the privilege that I have enough knowledge that I am a wannabe, that I do want to be a wannabe. I want to be like Jesus, and I want to walk in his footsteps. I don't think I've done a good job with it. The children have been a huge encouragement for me. They've been the best part of my life, I think. And without God, I can't imagine where we'd be. But I appreciate him and them and how he's helped turn our little troubles and trials into blessings. I'm thankful for it.
I'm thankful for all the help that each one was to me. I was thinking that that one service, the same day that all happened, that I'm glad that I went on to service that night. I feel like that night changed it. Had I stayed home, things could end up so differently. But that night is when things started changing from it being bad and hurtful and nearly destroying me to building me and making me stronger. I feel like after that, I've just been more determined, and I've tried harder, and I'm thankful that my family was encouraging rather than finding the negative in what was said. They helped turn it into a positive, and that helped me a lot. So I'm thankful for the church people and my family to have them to lean on and help me through the struggles and just help me get stronger.